Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, programmers of all ages, welcome back to yet another programming tutorial on HaxeFlixel. So in last week's tutorial, we added we fixed our mistakes from the previous tutorial. So we corrected the hitboxes collision detection thanks to someone on Twitter for helping us with that. And in today's tutorial, we're going to add towers that would be our ranged units. Now I have prepared the sprite sheets for them. Now if you can go over to github.com, wolfman13, HaxeFlixel tutorial, tree tutorial 13. Don't worry, the link will be down in the description. Now if you go over to assets, images, I want you to get the dragon tower, ice tower, poison tower, and Tesla tower. Now you will have to drag these into your assets and images file inside your project. And once you did that, you can restart your editor to have code completion. So I already did that. So once you did that, come back and we'll continue. Cool. So now to start off with, we want to go into projectile class. So we can just close Playstate for now and close that. Sorry, I mean we should go into ranged monsters.hx, not projectile. That's completely my bad. Now to start off with, we can remove armor float and armor value because I don't think we will need that. We can also change this to be 1.0. And that should be all for now, I think. So after super X and Y, we just want to go down 2 lines and create a switch statement. So switch projectile type. Now the projectile type will influence what tower we use. So we could have done it so we have an enumerator that handles all the towers, and then from the tower selection we handle projectile type. But we already have an enumerator for the projectile type, so we might as well just continue using it rather than having another enumerator. So we want to say case, in case it's a firebolt, then handle something. In case it's an ice bolt, oh, I said an ice bolt, then handle something. In case it's a poison bolt, handle something, and in case it's a shock bolt, handle something. Now for firebolt, we want to start off with by saying load graphic. So it's under asset paths. You're gonna give this to me. Here we go. And it is the dragon tower. Now it is animated, so true. It is a 16 by 16. Cool. Now we can just copy this line. Control C, Control V, Control V, and Control V. Now for ice tower, it will be ice tower. For poison tower, it will be poison tower, and for shock tower, well, shock bolt, it will be a Tesla tower. Cool. And they are all animated, they are all 16 by 16, so I try to keep the sprites 16 pixels by 16 pixels across the board. That way it's just easier to remember and it all looks pretty much the same. Now if we go into assets, images, and dragon tower, since it's the first one, just zoom in a bit, you can see that it's 1 frame for the idle animation and then 3 frames for the attack animation. So to create animations, we want to say animation dot add. For idle, we want to have only the first frame in it. It's only 1 frame, and it is non-looping. Cool. and then animation dot add attack. We want the second frame, third frame, and fourth frame. It is 3 frames long, and it also doesn't loop since we just want to attack and then stop the animation over there. Cool. So next up we have the ice tower. So if you go down, open ice tower, zoom in a bit. Now for the ice tower, I did it a bit differently. I had this little floating crystal above it, so frame 0, 1, 2, and 3 for idle, frame 4, 5, and 6 for the attack. Now we can just copy these two since we want the same name for the animation. So it's 0, 1, 2, and 3. It is 4 frames and it does loop. Now for this, we can just those. It is 4, 5, and 6. It is also 3 frames and it does not loop. Cool. Now for the poison tower, you can close here and open the poison tower. Now if we zoom in a bit. Zoomed in a bit too far and I don't know how to zoom out, I guess. So you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames for the idle animation and then 3 frames for the attack animation. So we can go here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 animations. 6 frames, my bad. And it is looping, so true. And then for the attack, it is 6, 7, frames 6, 7, and 8. And it's 3 frames and it does not loop. Awesome. Now for the shock, the Tesla Tower, we can open Tesla Tower.png, and if we zoomed in, we can see it's only 1 idle frame, same as with the Dragon Tower, and 3 attack frames. So 1 idle, frame 0, it doesn't loop, and then for attack it's frame 1, 2, and 3, it's 3 frames, and it also doesn't loop. Awesomeness. So to start off with, we want to, if I can spell, play the idle animation. Now this is why I named all for the towers have the same animation, so I can just say play idle depending on which tower. I don't have to say use a switch case per animation.play. I can just say animation.play, and because all 4 towers have the same animations, it'll play the animation for that tower. Awesomeness. Now we can remove the graphics since we have an actual image. Now we want to scroll down to the update function. So this handles the information as to when it should fire. So instead of saying should fire over here, well, to start off with, we can remove this line. And then instead of saying should fire, we want to say animation dot play the attack animation. So this is the attack animation. So when the shot variable reaches what we stated, in this case it's 1, we want to play the attack animation. Now you might be thinking, well, if we play the attack animation, the game won't know when to attack. And this is where the next part comes in. So we want to say if the animation has finished playing, then we say it should fire. And we also, after it fires, we want to play the idle animation again. Cool. And so if the animation hasn't finished yet by the next update loop, we want to say should fire equals false. Awesome. So that covers when the tower shouldn't fire, and this covers the fact that the tower should fire and also change animation states. I think that is as far as it goes for the ranged monster class. So now we can head on over to Playstate.hx. So we scroll up to where we spawn the monsters. We can just say we want to spawn one round of them. We can comment out the melee character. And we can just Control C, Control V, V, and V. Now I want to spawn the ranged monsters a bit differently. So on the x-axis, I want to spawn it at 10, y 0. For the next one, so we're going counterclockwise. So for this one, we want x to be 0 and the y to be 10. For the next one, we want the x to be minus 10 and the y to be 0. And then for the last one, we want the x to be 0 again and the y to be negative 10. Now for the projectiles, here we want Firebolt, then we want Ice Bolt. So you can, if you want to select the entire word, you can double click on it. You say Poison Bolt, and then lastly we want Shock Bolt. And that should be everything as far as that goes. Now let's test it to see if it works. So as since last tutorial, we want to say line test HL for hash link, and we want it to have debugging information so that we can have the debug overlay when we press F2. So I'm just gonna make a small cut here and we'll be back when this finished compiling. Okay, it's just about to finish compiling and there it goes. And you can see the projectiles charge up and then fire. And then charge up and ow, that hurt. And fire. Charge up and fire. Charge up, fire. Awesomeness, that works perfectly. So as per usual, just before you leave, thank you for watching today's tutorial episode. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, because it'll really help the channel, but feel free to also dislike if you just really did not like this. But if you didn't like it, would you mind also telling me why you didn't like it? In any case, if you want to support the channel beyond simply subscribing and liking the videos, you can go to 8bitswag.com. It's a e-commerce store that I created. We sell all types of developer swag, which includes things like the stickers that you can put on the back of your computer or on your car or wherever you can put a sticker. We also sell hoodies and we sell shirts, and we are adding new things all the time. So thank you for watching today's tutorial. I hope you have an awesome day and see you next week. Thank you and goodbye.